places because we are in the Underdark. The Underdark. But I think there is an unearthly beauty in this area. And we are approaching one of the parts of the Underdark which I find most fascinating, which is the Wizard's Tower. Now, I thought it would be fun for us to explore the tower together and uncover its mysteries, because there is certainly no shortage of mysteries in the Underdark. So with that in mind, please sit back and get cozy, and enjoy some relaxing, whispered Baldur's Gate 3 gameplay with me. So, if you don't recognize her from my last video, this is the character that I have been playing for. Well, I started her in a video a few months ago, actually, but I have finally gotten back into the game and made my way through most of the first act with her. This is my Dark Urge half-drow Warlock. She is an Archfey Warlock, and I'm having a lot of fun so far. The only thing I've changed recently is that I've given her a new hairstyle, which is part of the Tabs Hair Salon mod, I think it's called, and they've added some more hair physics to the mod, which is amazing. So I thought I'd, freshen up her look a little bit and try this out. So we will head through this archway and towards this eerie looking tower ahead of us. Now, this tower is guarded by these arcane turrets, but not to worry, we've done our research beforehand, and I know exactly how to deal with these turrets. So, let's enter our turn-based mode, and we need to use these Bloom to dampen the magic of these turrets. These grow in the Underdark. Perhaps we can't see it from here, or very distantly you can see the Susa tree growing ahead, and its flowers are anti-magic in their properties. This bright blue flower picked from a budding Susa tree exudes a honey-sweet aroma, which turns foul and eventually fades away if the bloom is exposed to sunlight. So we can use these and throw them at the turrets. Or we may need to just refresh our turn so we can move a bit further. But if we get in range of these turrets, they will shoot us. So let's hope we can do it in this turn if we throw. There we go. And we've gotten the secrets of the there's another turret just ahead, so I'll leave my group here for a moment and push on ahead with Lae'zel. And you'll notice that the Susa Bloom gives you this blue aura around your character, and while you are in this aura, you cannot cast any spells. But fortunately, we won't be getting into combat with anything. Oh, here we go. From here, you can see almost the whole Susa tree growing across this large chasm. I don't know what it is, but I have a special place in my heart for the Underdark. I think it's a fascinating landscape, particularly coming from, let's see if we can get out of the way. Hang on, oh, okay, we might take a few hits, I guess. Let's try that again. Gonna use this. The Underdark reminds me of Blackreach in Skyrim. Is that what it's called? Like the huge underground map, which is filled with the Falmer. And obviously now, playing this, I realised that it was probably Skyrim that was inspired by the world of Dungeons and Dragons rather than the other way around, but it's pretty cool to see. Now there is a statue at the entrance of this tower, and Gale says a wizard's tower is his sanctum, a private place for research. Oh, I don't know what the end of what it was, but he said he doesn't mind us stopping in for a visit while the owner of the tower is away. So let's, we may need to lockpick this door by the looks of it, so it's a good thing I've got our handy dandy resident rogue to roll a 15. Okay, got a 3, and we've got several extra buffs. We go, success. Unlocked the door. It looks like we've got more of these turrets inside, so someone is definitely concerned about their privacy. Whoever owns this tower. Let's see, where can we get to? I'm just gonna keep the rest of my group in the doorway. Let's just hide behind this pillar for a moment. And then let's throw this one. There we go. And one more. Let's just exit the turn-based again, so we can refresh our turn. You might be wondering how or why I have so many people in my party, and that is because I have a mod which removes the 4-person party limit, and it's one of my favourite mods to play with because it means using, which also include the WSAD movement. As you might be able to see, I am controlling my character with the keyboard rather than the point and click mechanic. And I also have a camera mod, which lets you move the camera a lot more freely than in the base game. So now that we have dismantled the protections, let's have a look around this tower, which seems to have fallen into some disrepair. So we've got a chest with various potions, rope, 2 empty traveller's chests. We've got some broken machinery. The cogs of this battle contraption are bent out of shape, the steel sheeting dented and cracked. Still, you can make out 2 sets of initials embossed into the copper, LDH and YTS. Interesting, let's pick that up. There's a lever over here. I imagine that just opens the door. Let's have a look at this dusty book. The beginning of this book proudly declares it to be a play by Dame Aeneas, followed by an extensive introduction and 23 pages of notes on the text. Though the book itself seems barely touched, one stanza is encircled twice. There is a light in every living thing. It's crawling towards the surface to survive, and in its wake it tramples everything. Will kill the rest so that the one can thrive. Ooh, seems like the owner was quite the literary type. Interesting. Let's go through this door. You can see that everything is covered in cobwebs. Oh, trickles of weave radiate from that chest, Gale says. Is a chest of the mundane, and it appears to have various cookware inside it. Let's take them. Ooh, something seems to have happened, and it looks like there was actually a spell on the chest, which means that what looked like ordinary items were actually magical objects. So we've got a half-light bomb, a gold ingot, a scroll of mage armor, Mistress Grace boots, and a scroll of protection from evil and good. Interesting. Well, it pays to be a hoarder who just takes everything that they find. Let's carry on around. So we've got some kind of lift in the middle of the room. We can... looks like some kind of magical contraption now to get it to work. So we have 2 buttons for ascend and descend, but neither seems to be working. So, and there seems to be some strange crystals, glowing gems growing out of the rocks here. And there's lots of these statues around the room. Let's see what's out here. Ooh. Okay, there's some kind of magical garden down below. So I guess we need to make our way down somehow. Let's carry on. Is there anything useful in these crates? Just some more machinery. I wonder what those initials stand for. I don't know. Okay, looks like, let's see if I zoom out. It looks like we should be able to climb down these mushrooms if we jump. There we go, this is a bit of a better view. And from here, yes, we can see Susa tree growing. And there was clearly something on this top floor that we'll want to get to. So let's carry on down. We may need to jump a bit. There we go. And there are lots of these arcane braziers. No way to ignite these. Strange. Interesting. Oh, this looks like some kind of, I want to say kitchen, but more like alchemy supply room or something. Lots of vases, and then these very strange mushrooms. Tongue of madness we just picked up. Can I see where that went? It probably went to my alchemy pouch. Let's see. Did it? No. Where did it go? Tongue of madness. This long, slender mushroom is named both for its resemblance to an oversized human tongue and the effect it has on that organ when consumed. Okay, let's pick those up. There is certainly not a shortage of bizarre flora growing in the Underdark. Let's keep looking. We've got Timask spores over here. Anything out on this balcony? No, doesn't look like it. What are these, I wonder? Let's see. These are what we need for a melon to help us craft an elixir to subdue our tadpoles. Spores are the Timask's main defense system, poisoning and befuddling any who inhale them. That doesn't sound particularly enjoyable. Is there anything in these vases? No. We've got lots of bioluminescent type, what do you call these? Well, mushrooms, but plants in general. There's a supply pack over here. I don't mind if I do. And a threadbare book. This threadbare book looks like it once contained a play, but most of it has been lost to time, vermin, and an unfortunate ink spill. Only 2 full sentences are distinguishable. How can I trust? How will I ever know? How can I show myself my darkest me? Ooh, that's certainly a bit edgy. Can we use these buttons here? Still nothing. Okay, anything in these sacks? Nope, doesn't look like it. Just some rotten cheese. Lovely. Let's not go near that. So, it looks like there's not really any way down apart from death. So, let's see if I've got a feather fall scroll. Here we go. Gain immunity to falling damage. Can I cast this? Yeah, I can cast this on the whole group, and then we should be able to jump down. Maybe I need to should we go to turn-based? Let's jump. That kind of makes my stomach feel funny, like watching them do that. There we go. Okay, we can head out of turn-based mode again. And we are down on the ground with some more strange mushrooms and things growing. There's a dirt mound that we can dig up. Fortunately, I brought my shovel mushroom, the bullywug trumpet, is found anywhere dark and dank. Okay. And we have more Sousa blooms here. Let's pick them up, I guess, in case we need them. And we seem to be on a little outcrop or island type situation. We've got water all around us. We still can't ignite these braziers. And the door is locked, so let's get a star in back again. We need to roll a 15. What do we get? 6, 10, 16, 21. There we go. Perfect. Unlocked. Oh, okay. We've got sort of a alchemy laboratory going on down here. We've got some sylvan stone, laculite, wolf candle. Interesting. And various distillation kits. Let's see anything interesting on these shelves. There's a small hole, but I don't think any of us can fit through that. Ooh, yeah, someone's definitely been experimenting with something here. There's a book, treatise on the anti-magic properties of Sousa tree flowers. The Anti-Magic Properties of Sousa tree flowers by L.D. Hurst. Was that one of the initials on the machinery? It was LDH, I think. Interesting. For those knowing about Sousa trees, their magical properties have always been a topic of debate. Not only their ability to create an anti-magic aura, which is complete enough that even those unattuned to the weave can feel its effect, but also, and most interestingly to those living in the world above, the ways its roots, bark, and flowers can be harnessed to make magic items. Rumours of such items are rare, but spread in settlements bordering the Underdark. Their existence, however, has not been confirmed by any of our clerics, nor by any other reputable scholars. I hypothesized that these items were no mere legends, and indeed, in this treatise, I will endeavour to explain how I myself created items that have anti-magic properties, and that use the magical absorption of Sousa tree flowers as a power source. Ooh. Lines have been drawn on the following pages as if the author intended to fill them with writing, but the remainder of the thin book is blank. Oh, that's actually quite sad. What stopped them from finishing it? They've left a dragon egg mushroom and a nightlight frond. Let's have a look through their shells. What do we got? On death and resurrection. A thin and pliable volume smelling faintly of dust. An excerpt from the ongoing metatext Rebound by Josepha Elgin, a scholar excommunicated from the Church of Denir for her heretical efforts to reconstruct the metatext, her god's annal of lost and hidden knowledge. Of what value is a life? Far too esoteric a topic to warrant any serious critical consideration between these pages, surely. Or so it would seem at first. But once we push aside the mysticism and dewy-eyed sentiment so often clouding our assessment, it is clear that across all the spinning planes, each and every life does indeed have a quantifiable value. It is simply that not all are equally valuable. Consider, we already know that the destruction of our material form is not the end. If anything, our souls are more free after death, transcending planar barriers in search of a resting place that best befits our deeds, beliefs, and station in life. But even this assessment is subject to market forces, Lord Kellamful weighing our souls against how thoroughly we have given them over to other gods, empowering them in turn. There is, of course, course, an alternate route, not the end of the path, but the chance to retread it. Clerics across the realms wield the power to return life to any soul deemed worthy or willing enough. It is strange then that these so frequently intersect with those deemed wealthy enough, for the components for such a spell are beyond the means of most mortals. I have interviewed those who have made such a return, and in truth have found them to be of the most dull and unimaginative sort that I cannot possibly imagine what it is they were so eager to return to. If a true assessment of the journey is to be made, then there is simply no replacement for embarking upon it oneself. Perhaps one day this great volume of learning will make me worthy enough to walk that path, and wealthy enough to return. I feel like I read this one in my last video, or like my last gameplay video, but that's fine. And we also have Magic of the Weave, an introduction, a hefty book for beginning spellcasters. Though mostly truthful, the author, clearly a wizard himself, seemed to possess quite a particular bias. Few try to understand the weave, a true pity, for only they who are truly attuned to the weave can rightly call themselves spellcasters. Thus comes the question, what is the weave? It is an essential element of the universe. It runs through everything in unseen threads. It is what makes magic possible. It is also, though I will not go into further detail here, the goddess Mystra herself. See Magic of the Weave, Mystra and the Spell Plague. The weave isn't magic, precisely. Rather, it is the raw material from which magic is woven, not entirely unlike how a collection of threads is shaped and formed into a garment. Those with the necessary talent and skill can manipulate the weave and perform magic by casting spells. Developing this skill takes years of learning and constant practice. You might have heard of those who can cast spells because they are born with an innate connection to the weave, commonly called sorcerers, or worse, because they struck a bargain with an otherworldly creature, also known as warlocks. Do not be deceived. Their magic is unpredictable, uncontrolled, and, in some cases, not even rightfully theirs. No, to truly know and manipulate the weave is an art, but those wizards who master it will know the limitless power and beauty the weave provides. That sounds like it was written by one of our very own party members. I wonder. There are some withered blue petals on the ground here. What are these? An exotic gossamer petal, faded and blue. It smells faintly of honey. Interesting. And again, we've got more sort of machines and things. There's a power generator in the middle here. We need to combine it with something. What are we guessing that we combine it with one of the Sousa blooms? Oh, there we go. That seemed to have done something. Oh, okay. I think we've turned the power back on by the looks of it. Oh, and the turrets are deactivating. Oh, and here we go. It lit those braziers. Oh, wow. It still looks rather ominous, but what is this at the top, I wonder? Okay. Do we need... Oh, I suppose we can't get up from here. Let's try these stairs. See where that takes us. Oh, there's a gilded chest with useful. I might take that one and replace my Speak with Dead necklace. Beneath the layers of dust covering this necklace, its inlaid gems still give off a blue sparkle, the colour of Mistra's clergy. Interesting. There's not much on this level by the looks of it. There's loads more alchemy ingredients in this barrel. Yeah, this is not a particularly stable looking platform, but let's okay, so we can only ascend from here. So let's go up one. Where's this take us? Oh, this is the floor with the various mushrooms and plants, etc. What's this? This is the first room that we started in, so let's see if we can go up one more. I think this is a new floor, is it? Yeah, this looks different. I might get rid of this flower. It's a little bit too bright. I'll leave it there in case we need it again. Oh, this looks like a bedroom, maybe. Oh, it's a bed over there. Yeah, it looks like someone's bedroom, but it looks like it's been rather destroyed. Let's have a look. It's a padded armchair. It's a rather sad little table in the corner here, set up for one person. A wooden chest with some gold and an ingot. And a very extensive book collection, I see. So over here we have a disc. The careful art of Tirsu's ciphers. An engraved disc of Githyanki origin containing a complex cipher that can decrypt ancient Gith dialects. A useful discovery if one should encounter such archaic writings. Interesting, let's pick that up. That sounds like it might come in handy. And a torn out paper. The writing on this torn out strip of paper is shaky and blotted with tears, making it barely legible. The silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Please, can I hold your hands for just a while? Oh, I'm getting the sense that something rather sad happened here. Let's have a look through their books. A scroll of a lightning bolt, nice. And disorders of the nerves and mind, a treatise. A medical compendium describing varied mental disturbances and their treatments by cleric physician Glenn L. Mack. There came to me a woman whom I shall henceforth call R, greatly distraught at the unusual tempers of her husband, whom I shall henceforth call B. 3 months prior he had suffered night sweats, crying out from sleep that he bore the mark of chaos. 2 months prior he had taken to calling himself by the title Sarafok. 1 month ago he had speak of little else but the throne for which he is destined. I attended to B at the couple's farmhouse. He sat calmly at the table, an unknown book clutched to his chest. I detected no curse nor loathsome spirit upon him, nor the presence of magic. Yet upon shining the light of candle flame upon him, he raised the book high and exclaimed, "The deaths they bring shall awaken the Father, and through them he will rise." I snatched the book from his hand and flung it into the hearth, where it burned not in red or yellow flame, but pure black. It left but a single scrap, reading, "He foresaw his coming death, and seeded his essence from the land." B shivered and sighed, as if waking from a nightmare. He had no memory of the book, nor the words he had spoken. Diagnosis: unspecified neurotic enthrallment. Treatment: herbal tincture of garlic and trace, sipped thrice daily until exhaustion lifts. I get the feeling that that treatment probably would not work. There's a letter on the floor, to the grey. From Barracuda we made our stand, meant to rule but led astray by wicked tentacle and wicked hand. This world belongs to the grey. Orindal stole all we had, yet taught the weapons by which to slay. Forge your minds to ironclad, this world belongs to the grey. The exile freed us with his command, to conquer what was taken away. Crush every monument into finest sand, this world belongs to the grey. Trade your heart for steel intent, for with whip and mind we flay. Let them all hear of our descent, the world is nothing but grey. Ooh, that's very strange. Here's a book, Oral Histories of Faerun, Gith and Mindflays. This book comprises several chapters, one for each cited source. It claims to contain first-hand transcriptions of the oral histories of several storytellers throughout the realm. Chapter 4, Baldur the Swift, 700 years of age, wood elf storyteller hailing from the wood of sharp teeth. It took me several 10 days of quiet habitation in the wood before the venerable Baldur felt comfortable revealing his presence to me. The longer I stayed, demonstrating that I was no threat to his health and peace, the more open he was to gentle inquiry. This tale, relayed to me on a chilly morning as we stoked a small fire between us, was like nothing I had heard before or since. I asked if it were fiction, and he insisted emphatically it was as true as his own right eye. Long ago, before my eyes and ears, before your lonesome quill, describe. Long ago, before my eyes and ears, before your lonesome quill, describe, there was an empire of people, or perhaps only belief, an empire of brain-eaters, soul-wasters. They called themselves Illithids, the flayers of mind. The children of Gith were bowed, bent in service to the flayers, a passionate people made to serve a cold belief. The flayers were untouchable, their minds a great oppressor. No proud will or passion could break Gith's children free, until at last a reckoning, its source unknown, its power unproven, but its events history-making. The cowed would not be cracked. Gith's children fought back valiantly, their freedom theirs. The flayers bent and broken till today. And there's another engraved Githyanki disc. The disc appears in your mind's eye. Lae'zel sees it too, and considers the vision. Tusu markings, ancient. I recognize them, but I can't make sense of. No, wait. The texts are enciphered, but I've solved the pattern. It's a story about Orpheus. Your head buzzes in concert with Lae'zel's, but it hardly matters. Even without the connection, you'd recognize her discomfort. Dear Sue, you said. What does that mean? Githyanki writing, every word a wheel, every letter a spoke. The most powerful texts are engraved in slate, some so ancient, only the most erudite Gish can read them. Who's Orpheus? A traitor, a dead one. The text is heresy. I can hardly bear to read it, let alone speak it. You'll bear it just fine. Tell me what it says. I do want to know what it says. Very well. father's wishes. The gift had nurtured a son, Orpheus, prince of the comet, the true heir. He knew Vlagith's treachery. Orpheus rallied Gith's honor guard and declared the throne for himself. The war of the comet had begun. Disregard this drivel. Gith declared Vlagith queen of the empire, and her own son defied her. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Geich. And if it's true, it sounds like Vlagith betrayed Gith and seized the throne. She did nothing of the sort. Thank your good fortunes I'm a tolerant woman, or I'd have sliced off a few toes for suggesting it. Well, that's very interesting. We've got some more scrolls. Scroll of Featherfall. Amap's memoirs. The reflections of Paul Amaps, a halfling humanist whose writings advised fair and peaceful ends to vicious conflicts. My life has been a long succession of pleasures. To see my town take to my ideas and cease legal discrimination of local orcs, to see my fights against horrid living conditions in city factories take off, to have the chance to see a new generation take to these ideas of a better, kinder, fairer, intelligent world and run with it to new reaches of the continent. It was not a life without struggle, however, and I shall regret its failures. My old friend Zuelto comes to mind, who adopted such cruel ideologies later in life. I will forever console myself in the idea that such a brilliant mind would only conceive such theories under the strain of exile and the promise of reinstatement, as she ultimately was. Interesting. The person who owns this tower clearly has some interest in the history of wars and violence. It's very interesting. And also Soul Coins, a treatise. The red leather cover of this manuscript is stamped with a grotesque sigil bearing resemblance to a screaming face. Academic disclosure. This research was funded independently and conducted at a site in Avernus, the first plane of the Nine Hells. Candlekeep does not encourage or promote the entrapment of mortal souls. Soul coins as a concept are one of merciless simplicity. The sum of personal and magical essence, the soul, is bound into a minted piece of infernal iron and used as currency by devils and their cohort. They are frequently traded, for their value can purchase mercenaries, magical items, and even fuel the strange engines in the hells. However, there is a fascinating culture surrounding soul coins as well. I spoke to a devil who admitted she has one coin that she will never sell, for it was the bargain that got her promoted out of Lemure status. She connected me to a half-elf warlock who had promised his soul to a coin after death. I was able to look at his contract, which is reproduced below. The next 50 pages appear to be a painstakingly written legal document in Infernal, with a headache-inducing number of footnotes. Interesting. And it appears that they have been reading this book here, The Roads to Darkness. The Roads to Darkness, an epic tragedy about power, corruption, and loneliness. Prologue, a lonely road, thunder and lightning. Enter Soreth. Soreth. New sounds through damp and dark oppression break. Is it the foe, that foul, contemptuous heel? Or art thou friend, a rescue from my lonely wake? Come out of love for me, not love for blood and steel. Enter Rhysia. Rhysia. How would I know? How would I know, Soreth? It's been so long. what do I know of you, and you of me? Zoreth. Wait, do you hear that sound? Enter Amphius. Amphius. What's this? Those figures so familiar both, but still you seem so strange. Zoreth. It's Amphius. Rysia. Dear Amphius, what happened to your face? It's pale as death. Zoreth. Your eyes are black as Shah. Amphius. And you, I saw your teeth, they're sharp as blades. And what is this road so slick with blood? What happened here? What happened to us all? Exeunt. End prologue. Act 1, 10 years prior. The rest of the play tells the tale of 3 elven friends, their paths to power, and how, corrupted, mad, and lonely, they killed each other. Ooh, that's some fun light reading before bed. And a handwritten letter. Dearest Lenore, I'm not sure I should say this, but your last letter really worried me. Why in all hells would you tame a bullet? Just because you found it near Myrna's grave doesn't mean that that's a sign. I'm really worried about you, Lenore. A bullet is not a pet. Using it as a guardian is one thing, but you sound quite taken by it. I know you don't want to come back before you finish your research, but if you are feeling lonely, you know my door is always open. Lots of love and hugs. Amarith. P.S. It really warms my heart to hear that you put the autumn crocus flowers on Myrna's grave. I remember she liked to roll around in them, even though she'd always sneeze after. She was such a soft, loyal dog. I wish there was more I could do. Oh, interesting. I found a gravestone for a dog over by the Susa tree. I wonder if that is this same dog. Let's see what else we have. Quite a few more books. I suppose we might have time to read more. Let's have a look. The Missives of Candlekeep. This book is packed full of meticulously copied letters, preserving even the handwriting of the originals. A select collection of the most notable letters sent from Candlekeep. Many are dry reports of celestial movements or incomprehensible details of arcane rituals. However, this letter catches your eye. To the sage Elminster. Over the past year, I've delivered many of your letters to Master Gorion, so I wanted to be the one to deliver this sad news. Alas, he is with us no more. Gorion and his ward left Candlekeep soon after your last letter to him arrived. They departed in the middle of the night, but were waylaid shortly after on the road to Beregost. The gate warden tells me that Gorion saw to it that several of his attackers joined him in the next world before he was struck down. I hope this brings you the same grim comfort it brings me. Of his ward, there was no sign. In some better news, I received your letter to the library and was able to find much of the material you requested. It has been carefully secured and will travel with this letter. Yours in honour, Tristan B. Shale, librarian at Candlekeep. P.S. I hope you'll forgive my curiosity, but might I ask, why do you need so much information about Barspawn? What exactly are you working on? So that refers to, is it Baldur's Gate 2? I believe is the game where you play as Gorion's ward, who is a Barspawn. That's interesting. Maybe one day I will go and play the old Baldur's Gate games. I never have. I think because I didn't grow up with them. I don't know. We'll see. Would that be something that people would want to watch on the channel? I don't know. Let me know. And then we have... Oh, we read this one last time, I think. Journey Through the Jungle. So I will leave that one. And then we have Oral Histories of Faerun. The Spell Plague, a cracked and well-worn volume showing passage through many hands. This book is comprised of several chapters, one for each cited source. It claims to contain first-hand transcriptions of the oral histories of several storytellers throughout the realm. Chapter 25. Cornelius and Demelius Worthywart, halflings encountered on the Golden Road south of Innerlith. I met the brothers, or rather, they found me, in the lower pass through the Fireshire Mountains. They had encountered a trail of golden discs along the path, and had resolved to gather and return them to whatever fool had more coin than common sense. It was to our mutual embarrassment then that I removed my cloak to reveal my patchwork yellow hide. It was molting season, I explained, and a traveller on the road had not the luxury to shed their scales in private, as would be proper. I suspect they knew too little of Dragonborn to be appropriately disgusted, and instead invited me to sup with them. Over a roadside fire, I learned of the purpose behind their journey. Cornelius, Llewellyn, my lad, our ancestral home, it was lost during the spell plague. Demelius, weren't nothing lost gone. It's not Nan's lucky Nashes, is it? It sank. See, wasn't I there when the blue fire took it? Sure, what do you remember? You were knee-high to a gnome. T, I remember you crying. Maybe it was you that sank the place, going back to finish the job. See, watch that lip lest I fatten it. Only a fool speaks ill of this homeland. Their brows were bristling dangerously, and so I diverted hostilities by speaking of my own people's ancestral home, the blighted world of Abir, and the 1,000-year tyranny of dragons we lived under, until the blue fire of the spell plague brought us to this world. See, right, T, another potato. I love reading the books in this game. I don't know why, they're just so much thought has clearly gone into all of them, and I like taking the time to appreciate that. Oh, so we've left some gold in this wardrobe. There's a button. Wait, why did that strange dog collar just vibrate? Hey, wait, this is the one I picked up. Oh, okay, yeah, dog collar, an old leather collar for a large dog. The name Myrna is engraved on the dog, or Myrna, surrounded by a plethora of indecipherable runes. That was the dog that was mentioned in that letter. Let's try and put this collar on. Food is dispensed for anyone wearing this collar. Oh, so the wizard made like a magical button that released steak for the dog. That's so sweet. There's a wooden chest with a ring, Mage's Friend. Gives +1 Arcana and +1 Religion. I don't mind if I do. Wait, put that on actually. Because I don't currently have any rings, I think. Yeah. Here's the bed. Another Soul Coins book. An armillary sphere. A telescope. I spy with my little eye. Nothing of note, really. Oh, okay, so from here, if you look out, this is where the dog's grave was. Right across from where this telescope is. Oh, does that mean that the wizard who lived here buried it and then put this telescope so she, I think it's a she, could look out? That's so sad. Okay, let's head up to the next level. Ascend. Oh. New sounds through damp and dark oppression break. Is it the foe, that foul, contemptuous heel? You know these words. They are from the opening stanza of a play you found in this very tower. So the answer is, or art thou friend, a rescue from my lonely wake? Come out of love for me, not love for blood and steel. Oh, command as you see fit, my lord, my liege. Don't get me wrong, I love poetry as much as the next wizard, but using it to command an automaton seems a bit self-indulgent to me. Oh, we've got a load of different options. How can I trust? How will I ever know? How can I show myself my darkest me? There is a light in every living thing. It's crawling towards the surface to survive. The silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Please, can I hold your hands for just a while? We can ask, what is this place? An unbeknownst command that I cannot fulfill. So he will only respond to poetry and say the first one. If you do not your deepest secrets show, reveal your truth, give what you wish to see. Bernard's secret. An automaton named Bernard rewarded us with a precious ring. Guiding light. Used by the previous owner to access both the Underdark's darkest corners and her own basement. This ring seems to reflect light when there should be none. Let's put this on. My ring lit up must have been linked to that button. Ooh, so we have uncovered a button to take us to the basement. Let's have a look around first. So there's loads more broken machinery. I think I can guess. It's a patched parchment. The paper is torn and patched in many places as if it was well used but treasured. On it is a small poem without a name. These empty sheets are all that's left of you, the last of all the thoughtless gifts you gave. I will hold on to them. It's all that I can do. I can't throw them away. I have never been that brave. Oh, so I guess her lover died and she created a machine version of him. This is Bernard. Let's say that line to him. These empty sheets are all that's left of you, the last of all the thoughtless gifts you gave. Oh. And he gave us something. What did he give me? Can I see? Doesn't seem to have given me anything. I don't know. Now, I do know, having done this once by mistake, you should not pick this first option or you will get into combat with all of the automatons on this top level, because the second line of this is something about the one shall kill the rest or something. So let's not say that, but let's say the one. The silence stretches on. I'm all alone. Of course, my love, don't be afraid, sweet girl. What can I do? Say, would you like a hug? Oh, yes, please. Come here. For just a moment. Let it out. Oh, this is too sad. His arms are too tight and too low for a comfortable hug, as if he's meant to be embracing someone slightly shorter. Remember, you are loved, Lenore, so much. You're doing great, and everyone will be so proud of you. As I already am. Oh, this is so tragic. Oh. But kind of beautiful in its own way. Okay. I don't think there's much more to be seen up here. By the looks of it, just more broken machinery. Oh, and some, what's that? There's a lever. What did that do? basilisk oil. More books, more scrolls. Scroll of Dimension Door, Scroll of Gust of Wind. The book, Notes from a Soothsayer, embossed with a unique personal seal in the Waterdavian style. This book's author appears to be someone of high status within that city. Each chapter of this book details a unique case study in the soothsayer Geraldine Havelow's illustrious career. Its 23rd chapter is conspicuously dog-eared. Chapter 23, The Frightened Noble and the Ogre Omen. Hereunder I have transcribed a conversation between myself and a young nobleman of my lifelong acquaintance. Typically he came to me for guidance in matters of love and fortune, but his visit to me on one occasion stands out particularly in my mind. Himself, Madam, please, what I say to you is true. Myself, perhaps you'd be so kind as to repeat it, for the record. Himself, the fellow I met was ochre of skin, with ears like an elf and the nose of a half-rotted corpse. Markings like those on a fawn's hide decorated his skin. Myself, I see. And what did he say as he approached you in the, what was it, misted glen upon your lands? Himself, the fellow, the creature, the man came to me slowly, a blade in his right hand. I was transfixed, as though stricken stiff by some magic. He held the sword below my chin, and asked me something I could not understand. I can see it now, the blade silver as the moon in a lake beneath my chin. Myself, calm yourself, sir, you are quite safe. You say you could not understand what the fellow said. Himself, at first, no, at first I knew not what tongue he spoke, but he seemed to glean my confusion, and tried in common instead. And he said, tell me now, which plane is this? It was then I lost grasp of the ghost, and fainted directly to the ground. Myself, and then, himself, and then, when I woke, I knew not how much later, he was gone, and I flew to you. Myself, I understand, child, be not frightened, for you have been visited by a most auspicious omen. Your crops will yield twice their wealth this year. Himself, truly, but who was he? Myself, he was a figment of your inner demon, a message from your deepest intuition, and he came to inform you of your impending luck. I tell you, it was so. Now, I don't know about you, but that description sounds like a gift to me, and it definitely sounds like the woman, or the mage who owns this tower, has a very keen interest in Gith. So either is she a Gith, or was Bernard a Gith, although that name is not particularly Gith-like, but... And we have Fringe Philosophy, Volume 5, a dense academic volume printed with no eye for design or delight. The publisher's notes claim this volume promotes magical theory, too radical for the mainstream. This excerpt is attributed to High Artificer Thorabrin of Baldur's Gate. I suppose they seek to silence me, believing that an artificer of the High House would not stoop to publish in any volume outside of the great Gondian journals they so diligently guard. But they forget that I am not so grand. Before I lent my name and my knowledge to the High House of Wonders, and all the marvels therein, I was naught but a lazy farm girl who liked to look up. And that was how I first saw them, the slow and serene earth motes, entire mountains migrating through the sky above. It was later I learned of their origins, of the ancient Netherese empire that fashioned them, of the residual magic so potent it sustained them still. The wizards of Netheril carved marvels out of the mundane, lifted the earth aloft for industry, for sport. It was later still, after I earned my place at the High House, that I learned of the long shadow Netheril cast along the evolution of our craft. That their great flying cities fell in folly and flames does not diminish the wonders they wrought wrought, and this stubborn aversion to studying them, to learning what they learned, is the very antithesis of Gon's teachings. Yes, many of the catastrophes inflicted upon the centuries were fruit born of meddling with Netherese seed. Yes, their last shining bastion fell into shadow, their lord twisted to Shah's dark and destructive designs. And yes, I say again, whether the High House will sanction it or no, to study the very flame of creation is worth it, even should the fires consume us. Wow, that's quite a heavy read. We have another gilded chest here. Oh, and in the chest we have Dehurst's diary. The otherwise plain book has the words Eldehurst and diary written on the front in faded silver ink. So that's Lenore. Crisp cursive fills the pages of the diary, detailing the daily struggles of a cleric of Mistra, studying the magical properties of the Underdark. The last entry dates back about 10 years. To Alduriak, 1481 DR. Who would have thought 3 years ago that I would start a diary? Not a research journal, but a real diary. I guess when every soul is more likely to kill you than converse with you, talking to a book starts making sense. And who would have thought 3 years ago that I would be called back to Baldur's Gate to confer with the other clerics of Mistra, right at the apex of my studies? I have all the pieces, but I have barely started my treatise. No matter, I will take my ring with me to show them a glimpse of the possibilities. I will leave you, my dear book, here, together with the rest of my research, waiting to be finished. I should be back before next chess. LDH. Oh, I really hope she made it to Baldur's Gate. I hope nothing happened to her, but I don't actually know what the next part of her story is. There is a staff of arcane blessing. Let's have a look at that. Ooh, it has Mistress Blessing. Bless grants an additional 1d4 to saving throws and weapon attack rolls, and an additional 2d4 to spell attack rolls. And it gives you the spell Bliss. Though dust has settled into every nook and cranny of this staff, it still emanates a soothing aura. Its previous owner cast it aside, forgotten because there was no one to bless. Oh, this is just too sad. Let's take these tongues of madness. And I think one last book. Excavation of the Enclave of Naloth. Elminster said Naloth was a wonder to behold when it floated in Faerun's sky. He was surely right. This Netherese enclave was once a jewel in the empire of magic, with towers that pierced the heavens. And yet it fell, just as all Netherese enclaves did, crashing down when Castus' folly ripped magic from the world. But even after it collapsed into the sea, its ruins still held a strange, twisted beauty. I travelled here from Halrua when I heard the sea had retreated, and the ruins of Naloth were visible once again. Alas, I was not the first. Looters have stripped the enclave of its material wealth, destroying much of its esoteric riches in the process. I found arcane books used to make campfires, their magic lost now to the ages. I have met some Shadowvar here whose interests align with mine, and we have agreed to search the ruins together. I'm grateful for these allies. The ruins are mostly filled with thick-skulled adventurers, but I cannot shake the feeling that someone is watching us, waiting to see what we uncover. Oh, wow. Okay. I think that was everything in the basement. Let's head up this way. And we are back in the, well, not quite basement. We're back in the garden. And I think this is where we shall finish up. To be honest, I think that this has raised more questions than it ended up So I'll have to think about where else we can make relaxing, but I hope that you found this video relaxing. If you have any theories on who this woman in the tower is, what her story is, I would be very keen to know. I think I'm gonna go and look up other people's thoughts on this now, because I don't think I've ever paid much attention to everything in the tower, so I'm intrigued. And yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful night's sleep if you're heading off to bed, and if not, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I apologize that I've not posted for over a week. Life has just been a bit hectic, so hopefully I'm gonna get back into a bit more of a routine, but we'll see.